Now, I don't need future vision to foresee people already typing angry comments. Look, I don't want you all to get the wrong idea here. I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I love the beautiful, lush world you get to explore, the incredibly engrossing side quests, the deep, admittedly a bit exploitable combat.
Now it's Rant time!
And the characters are cool too. Well, except for...
I'm sure that's all very clever. But why were you more worried about a machine than me, Shulk?
Well, I just explained why.
Let's get this out of the way. I hate Shulk. Shulk is an incredibly boring character, and the only time he's not, he's either doing something very dumb, or worst of all, being non-attentive or uncaring about everything happening around him.
What?
Oh, nothing.
What?
My gripes with Shulk can be summed up with 4 major problems. 1. Shulk is boring due to him seeming not to care about the events transpiring around him. This is mostly a voice acting issue, but still, he has more character and expression in Smash Bros. 2. Shulk never seems to actually grow as a character. Yes, there are moments in the story where Shulk screws up, the characters call him out on it, and it seems like he learns his lesson. But then he goes and does the exact same thing again with absolutely no consequences for his decisions. 3. The world seems to constantly reward Shulk for absolutely no reason. Whether it's Shulk pulling powers out of nowhere, or characters praising Shulk and talking about how amazing Shulk is, in circumstances where he definitely does not deserve that praise. The 4th problem is that plot twist where... We'll get to that later, don't worry. But I'm just rambling at this point. To show you all what I mean, we are going to dive deep and analyze the entirety of Shulk's role in Xenoblade's story. Only then can I truly show how atrocious of a character Shulk is. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, because I am taking this Monado boy down. So the first time we see Shulk in Xenoblade's story, he's analyzing Mechon tech.
A Mechon M71? I bet I can use its optical system to align one of the anti-air batteries.
Shulk finally finds the piece of machinery he was looking for.
An M69!
It turns out, though, that the part was just a Crabble. But luckily, Rain jumps in to help Shulk fight it. Rain and Shulk defeat the Crabble and head back to Colony 9. Once they get back, Shulk decides to head over to the weapons development lab to sell some old parts. While there, he goes to check on the Monado and runs into Dixon. There, Shulk talks about the Monado.
Anyone can activate it. The problem is controlling it.
Yeah, for everyone except him.
Yes. If anyone other than Dunban were able to control the Monado, we could surpass any military force in the world.
The Monado might conceal even more power. Am I right?
So this is actually a good scene. Shulk talks about how if they can get other people to control the Monado besides Dunban, and if he can figure out how to unlock the secret power within the Monado, then they would have a huge advantage against the Mechon. It's cool because it gives the Monado this mystical and grandiose feeling to it, and builds hype for the moment the player finally gets to use this mystical weapon. It's a similar build-up that the Master Sword has in Zelda, a weapon that in many Zelda games is built up from the start as this mystical and powerful weapon that your average Joe can't just use, because it requires a special person, or rather, a hero. So when you go through a difficult journey, brave your way through challenging dungeons through clever thinking and wits alone, and prove yourself to be a true hero, being rewarded with that mystical sword feels earned and rewarding. The actual setup in this scene is excellent. We shall see how it pays off later. Anyway, cut to Shulk sitting on a bench pondering over the Monado's power, when Fiora comes over to give him a sandwich.
This is great. It tastes so good.
Really?
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It clearly isn't. You're not even eating it.
Ah, the breeze feels so good.
Yeah. I'd forgotten what it feels like.
You've forgotten what a breeze feels like? Have you never been outside? Shulk, you just enjoyed the breeze right here.
The debris siren.
Strange. There hasn't been much falling lately.
might be more on the way. The anti-air batteries can't protect us out here. Let's get back to the lab.
So this is where my problem with the voice acting really comes into play. You can hear with those lines how disinterested Shulk sounds in their current situation. This is a recurring problem throughout the entire game.
Yeah, let's go.
Soon, the Bionis will awake. And not only the Hyentia, but all life will perish. Do you see, Shulk?
You're talking about total extinction.
Strike him down!
I will. I'll kill him.
This is a huge problem, because Shulk is written to be a typical JRPG protagonist. Look at how others who fill the same role as him sound.
See ya.
I never asked for this, Richard! This is crazy! You can't do this! I'm going to get you out of here! Just hold on!
So yeah, as you can see, having a typical JRPG protagonist sound like Shulk, especially when your JRPG is 80 hours long, is a huge problem, and can really start to drone on the player throughout the game. Anyway, that awkward scene finally ends, and Shulk and Fiora head back to the weapons development lab. There, they find Rain messing with the Monado. Because of Shulk's experience spending hours studying the Monado, and his clear care for the weapon, this causes Shulk to get triggered.
Ryan! What are you doing?
Rain picks up the Monado like an idiot and starts uncontrollably destroying the lab, and almost gives Fiora a heart attack. This causes Shulk to get triggered again, which, while warranted, is still really funny.
Ryan!
And then...
Fiora, are you okay?
I'm fine.
It's broken.
What? What do you mean it's broken? Don't you care about me? I could have died!
You're not hurt, are you?
You... complete... prick! And this certainly won't be the last time Shulk's a total prick to his friends.
I'm sure that's all very clever. But... why were you more worried about a machine than me, Shulk?
Well, I just explained why.
He's an asshole.
Shulk touches the Monado and gets his first vision. Alright, so let me talk about the visions a bit here. I'll be honest, I really don't like the trope of characters being able to see the future. It really lowers the stakes, because if a character knows every single move that their enemy can make, I have no reason to believe that character will ever be in danger. Or at least the kind of danger that doesn't feel artificial. This trope can be done well, but you need to nerf the character's future seeing ability to the point where the audience can still believe the character can still be in danger. Like, have an incredibly high cost to the character for using their future vision ability. Or make it so the character really isn't involved in combat, and explore the moral or psychological impact that seeing into the future would have on someone. Unfortunately, this game does not have a big enough nerf on Shulk's future vision at all. If anything, his future vision just gets more and more powerful throughout the game. So yeah, I really hate the future vision thing in this game, and I'll go into more specifics on why as we move further along. So after the vision, Rain tells Shulk he got punished by the Colonel, and needs to go to Magmel Ruins to collect ether cylinders, and asks Shulk to come along. Fiora invites herself, like a boss.
Hold up. Hey, we gon' rock it till the wheels fall off. Hold up.
So they go and do the thing, and then, oh no, Colony 9 is being attacked by the Mechon. So they rush back to the colony. They get back to the colony to see the Mechon destroying everything. Shulk and Rain spring to action to fight the Mechon. After disabling some Mechon while Fiora goes to get the artillery unit, Shulk and Rain get overwhelmed. Then Rain is about to get crushed, but then Dunban comes in kicking butt with the Monado. Shulk, Rain, and Dunban continue fighting Mechon while also going to check if Fiora is okay. But unfortunately, the Monado begins tiring Dunban out to the point where he's coughing up blood. This guy's pretty cool pushing himself this far. Wait, what is Shulk doing?
Hey!
Dude, you know that's not going to work. You've established you have been studying this thing for a while now and haven't been able to use it before, and you saw what it just did to Dunban.
This time, it's my turn!
Alright, stop. Hold the phone here. Okay, here we go. Now, first of all, I need to clarify that Dunban did something very similar at the beginning of the game. Here's the key difference between the opening scene with Dunban and Shulk here. Dunban had already physically picked up the Monado earlier for an extended period of time and practiced with it, most likely in a safe environment. so he already knows the effects the Monado have on his body. Shulk, however, has already been shown to have no ability to use the Monado back in the mech lab. Second of all, remember the scene we saw earlier with Dixon where the Monado is being built up, and I compared it to how the Master Sword is built up in Zelda? Well, let's take that analogy again. Imagine you are Link. Your village is being destroyed and your uncle is on death's door. Your uncle then says, "Here, Link, save the people and take this Master Sword, because you are a true hero." Even though you haven't really done anything to prove that yet. Like, you basically just walked a couple of steps, fell down a hole. But here, you're a true hero. You get the super uber powerful sword that only the true hero can use. It's stupid, because Link hasn't done anything at that point to prove that he is a hero worthy of the Master Sword. Thus, him getting the sword at the very beginning of the game would feel unearned. Now, you could make the argument that Dunban also just happens to be skilled enough to wield the Monado at the beginning of the game, but Dunban is not the main character. It is extremely unsatisfying from a player's perspective to have your characters gain the uber-powerful weapon without feeling like you earned it. And look, there wasn't really much else Shulk could have done in this situation. He could have either gone for the Monado or he and his friends would die. It's more that this scene should not have existed in the first place, because it's really bad for both the story and Shulk's character. Alright. Let's keep going. So Shulk is charging forward and gets more visions. Thanks to these visions, Shulk is able to perfectly dodge and counter the enemies. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say these future abilities are broken. You can see clearly here, a character being able to predict all of their opponent's moves lowers narrative stakes because it's unlikely that character will end up in danger later. Dunban and Rain jump in to help out Shulk. Of course, Shulk's body doesn't seem to be affected by the Monado too much because he's a bad protagonist. Eventually, they run into a face mechon that the Monado does not work against. Luckily, Fiora comes in with the artillery. Shulk then gets a vision of Fiora being obliterated, and that's exactly what happens. I have issues with this scene, but I will go over those in a much, much later part. So Shulk gets really mad because he thinks Fiora is dead.
I'll kill you!
Then Shulk gets beaten up, but the face mechon doesn't kill him because he has plot Ooh, so mysterious. I guess we'll find out later why that faced mechon doesn't kill Shulk there.
Get back here!
The next day, Shulk reminisces about the amazing times he had with Fiora. Like that really awkward bench scene where Shulk doesn't even know what a breeze feels like. Please don't remind me of that scene, game! So Rain walks over to Shulk, and Shulk tells Rain how he had a talk with Dunban about what happened to Fiora. Not entirely sure why the scene with Dunban couldn't have just happened first and needed to be a flashback, but whatever. Here, Dunban has an actually really touching scene where he talks about the harsh realities of war, and how Shulk needs to accept that Fiora is gone. But of course, Shulk can't accept that Fiora is gone, so he and Rain decide to go on a revenge quest and kill all those mechon.
My purpose in life. I will pursue that faced mechon.
Ugh. Now look, I'm aware that Shulk had a long fight and is probably worn out, so I'm not looking for much here. But this is just sad. I need some kind of energy from the character here to show Shulk actually cares! Like here. Let's look at Kid Naruto after he gets beaten nearly half to death by Sasuke. He doesn't necessarily sound super pissed off right here, but look at how much energy is behind one of his most famous lines.
I understand. If being smarter means what you say it does, I'll remain a fool my entire life.
See? Look at how much energy is behind those lines. And it's also clear from this line that his energy level, while a bit subdued because he's no longer in the actual fight with Sasuke, is still quite high, and his desire and resolve to achieve his goals is stronger than ever. There's a clear through line between the fight with Sasuke and this scene. Now, back to Xenoblade. Shulk goes from this to this.
Mechon.
But if you think this is bad, trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Shulk gets way worse later in the story. So, if you want to see me rant about that, tune in next time.